Hello, and welcome to Everyday Speaking Lab. Today, we are talking about your daily routine. You will learn useful words, common questions, and simple sentences to describe what you do every day. Listen carefully, say the key phrases aloud, and answer the questions when it is your turn. Let's begin. Your daily routine is what you normally do each day. You can talk about your morning, your work or school schedule, your free time, and your evening. For example, a coworker may ask, "What time do you start work?" A new friend may ask, "What do you usually do after work?" These are common questions in real conversations. Before we continue, think about your normal day. What is the first thing you do in the morning? Perhaps you wake up. To wake up means to stop sleeping. For example, I wake up at 6:30. I wake up at 6:30. Say it with me. I wake up at 6:30. Now change the time. I wake up at... Your turn. After you wake up, you get up. To get up means to leave your bed. Wake up and get up are not exactly the same. You may wake up at 6:30, but get up at 6:45. Listen to the complete sentence. I wake up at 6:30, but I get up at 6:45. Now try it with your own times. I wake up at, but I get up at. Your turn. After you get up, you may take a shower. To take a shower means to wash your body in the shower. For example, I take a shower every morning. Say it naturally. I take a shower every morning. Some people take a shower at night. You can say, I usually take a shower before bed. Which sentence is true for you? I take a shower in the morning, or I take a shower at night. Your turn. Next, you get dressed. To get dressed means to put on your clothes. For example, I get dressed after my shower. I get dressed after my shower. Now say the complete sentence. I get dressed after my shower. You can also say, I get dressed before breakfast. When do you get dressed? Answer with a complete sentence. Your turn. Now let's talk about breakfast. Breakfast is the first meal of the day. You can say, I eat breakfast at home. You can also say, I have breakfast at 7. Eat breakfast and have breakfast have the same basic meaning. Listen again. I have breakfast at 7. Now use your real time. I have breakfast at... Your turn. After breakfast, you may go to work or go to school. For example, I go to work at 8 o'clock. Say it with me. I go to work at 8 o'clock. A student can say, I go to school in the morning. Some people do not travel to work. They work from home. For example, I work from home 3 days a week. Which sentence describes your life? I go to work, I go to school, or I work from home. Say your answer now. During the day, you may take a break. A break is a short time when you stop working or studying. For example, I take a short break at 11. Now try it. I take a short break at 11. You can change the time. I take a break in the afternoon. When do you normally take a break? Your turn. At the end of the workday, you finish work. For example, I finish work at 5:30. I finish work at 5:30. Now say the sentence with your real time. I finish work at... Your turn. After work or school, many people go home and relax. To relax means to rest or do something you enjoy. For example, I relax and watch television. You may also say, I listen to music to relax. Or, I read a book after work. What do you do to relax? I relax by. Your turn. In the evening, you may have dinner. For example, I have dinner with my family. Say it with me. I have dinner with my family. You can add a time. I usually have dinner at 8. The words usually means most of the time. Listen again. I usually have dinner at 8. Now use your dinner time. I usually have dinner at. Your turn. At the end of the day, you get ready for bed. You may brush your teeth, wash your face, and change your clothes. Then you go to bed. For example, I go to bed around 11. Around 11 means approximately 11. It may be a little before or a little after. Say it with me. I go to bed around 11. Now use your real bedtime. I go to bed around. Your turn. Good. You now have the essential vocabulary to describe a normal day. Let's put these words into useful sentences. Listen to the first sentence. I usually wake up at 6:30. Now say it more slowly. I usually wake up at 6:30. Try it with your own time. I usually wake up at. Your turn. Here is another useful sentence. I have breakfast before I go to work. Listen again. I have breakfast before I go to work. Let's divide it. I have breakfast before I go to work. Now say the local census. I have breakfast before I go to work. A student can say, I have breakfast before I go to school. Choose the sentence that is right for you and spot. Next, listen to this sentence. I start work at 9 and finish at 5. Now in two parts. I start work at 9 and finish at 5. Say it together. I start work at 9 and finish at 5. Now change the times. I start work at and finish at. Your turn. Here is a useful sentence for your afternoon. After work, I go home and relax. Say it in parts. After work, I go home and relax. Now say the complete sentence. After work, I go home and relax. You can change the final activity. After work, I go to the gym. After work, I make dinner. After work, I meet my friends. Complete the sentence. After work, I. Your turn. Now listen to an evening sentence. In the evening, I usually watch television. Say it with me. In the evening, I usually watch television. You can replace watch television with another activity. In the evening, I usually read. In the evening, I usually exercise. In the evening, I usually study English. What do you normally do? In the evening, I usually. Your turn. Here is one more useful sentence. I do not have the same routine every day. Listen again. I do not have the same routine every day. This sentence is useful when your schedule changes. You can also say, my routine changes on weekends. Now try it. My routine changes on weekends. Good. Now let's practice common questions and answers. What time do you wake up? A possible answer is, I usually wake up at 6:30. Another answer is, I wake up around 7. Now answer the question with your information. What time do you wake up? Your turn. What do you do in the morning? A model answer is, I take a shower, get dressed, and have breakfast. Another answer is, I exercise, and then I get ready for work. Now answer. What do you do in the morning? Your turn. What time do you start work or school? You can say, I start work at 8:30. A student can say, my classes start at 9. Now give your answer. What time do you start work or school? Your turn. Where do you have lunch? A possible answer is, I have lunch at work. Another answer is, I usually eat lunch at home. Where do you have lunch? Your turn. What do you do after work or school? You can answer, I go home and relax, or I go to the gym after work. Now answer with your own routine. What do you do after work or school? Your turn. What do you usually do in the evening? A model answer is, I have dinner and watch television. Another answer is, I spend time with my family. What do you usually do in the evening? Your turn. Finally, what time do you go to bed? You can say, I usually go to bed at 11, or I go to bed around 10:30. Now answer. What time do you go to bed? Your turn. Now imagine two co-workers talking during a break. The first person asks, what time do you usually start your day? The other person answers, I usually wake up at 6 and go for a walk. Then the first person says, that is early. What time do you start work? The other person answers, I start at 8:30. How about you? The first person says, I start at 9, but I wake up at 7. Then the other person asks, what do you do after work? The first person answers, I usually go home, make dinner, and relax. This is a simple, natural conversation about daily routines. Notice the question, how about you? This is an easy way to return a question. For example, I start work at 8. How about you? The other person can answer, I start at 9. Also notice the question, what do you do after work? You can answer with one activity or several activities. I go home. I go to the gym. Or I go home, make dinner, and relax. Now let's have a short conversation together. I will ask the questions and you will answer. What time do you usually start your day? Your turn. What is the first thing you do? Your turn. Do you eat breakfast at home? Your turn. What time do you start work or school? Your turn. What do you do after work or school? Your turn. And what time do you go to bed? Your turn. Well done. Today you practiced how to talk about your daily routine. You learned useful expressions such as wake up, get up, take a shower, get dressed, have breakfast, go to work, take a break, finish work, relax, and go to bed. You also practiced important sentences. I usually wake up at 6:30. I have breakfast before I go to work. I start work at 9 and finish at 5. After work, I go home and relax. In the evening, I usually watch television. I go to bed around 11. Before we finish, describe your daily routine in 5 simple sentences. First, say what time you wake up. Next, describe your morning. Then talk about work or school. After that, describe your evening. Finally, say what time you go to bed. Take your time. Your routine does not need to be interesting or perfect. It only needs to be real. Great work today. Keep listening, keep speaking, and keep making English part of your daily routine.